a little past 8 o'clock. Time for the briefing of the Board of Commissioners meeting to be held at 9 o'clock. Mr. Bell, you going to take care of the invocation this morning? Mr. Pate, you going to take care of the pledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have approval of the minutes. Discussion, adjustments on the agenda. We have any adjustments?
Mr. Wood.
Mr. Wood?
We did have one item we wanted to add, which is a budget amendment. I think you all have it here. The reason we want to do this is timely. They need to get moving on this site study. This is on the new tower site for the public radio system.
Okay. You gonna put it in, Pam, you gonna put it in with the other one from OES at the same time?
Oh, okay. We can do that.
Well, that's your call.
I just had it at the end.
I know you used it. Okay, all right, whichever way you want to do it. Is that the only adjustments to the agenda?
That's all we had.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, you got the appointment committee?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Board of Commissioners, committee reports. We have no unfinished business today.
A question on unfinished business.
Yes, sir, Mr. King.
On committee reports at the February 4th, in the minutes, it shows that in the committee reports that purchasing manager Noel Woods stated the feasibility study for a new detention center is on hold until Wayne County hears from the statute of North Carolina concerning the disposition of Wayne County Center. Wayne Correctional Center. 4 firms have been interviewed. Can we get this on old business to discuss this morning, Mr. Chairman?
I don't have a problem with it, Mr.
Okay.
Wood.
Thank you.
You got that, Marshall?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Be under unfinished business.
Unfinished business. New business. I think we're having a presentation from We Dig It Agriculture Day presentation. I think Kevin's going, and his staff is going to present
Yes,
that.
and Mr. Odom will be here.
Okay. East Point presentation. They're going to be here to present.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Jones and Mr. Simmons are scheduled to be here.
Okay. All right. Budget amendments, Ms. Holt. You got budget amendments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and then Steel Memorial Library furniture proposal. Noel, you take care of that? Schedule Board of Commissioners retreat date.
I'll handle
You
it.
take care of that, Mr. Wood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Consent agenda. We've got one item on the consent agenda, establish public hearing, request for rezoning 542 NC Highway 581 South from residential 10 to community shopping. Any discussion on that, or Okay, 10 o'clock, public comments. Then we'll have a work session, North Carolina Association of County Commissioners video, legislative priorities and advocacy meetings with legislators. Mr. Keene, can you? Did you have a video, or Marcia, you?
I have the video to play that the County Commissioners Association requested be played today.
Okay. If there's any comments, will you?
Sure.
Okay.
Will we be available
Did you
to
want to handle
leave
that too?
at a certain time in order to get to Kinston for the Task Force Economic Development meeting this afternoon?
We're gonna try to. Depends on how much discussion y'all have on these items. It's kinda in our hands. Then we're gonna go in, then we got closed session.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parker,
Yes, sir, you do.
you need to,
You can do those now if you want to, or when you finish going through the briefing, you could.
what's the pleasure of the board? You wanna go ahead and take care of the closed session?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're gonna have Board of Commissioners comments. County managers comments. I think, Mr. Wood, you got an update on the
Yes, sir.
public school
I'm
project?
also going to give you an update on the budget. I'm going
Okay.
to talk about that a little bit. And one thing came up yesterday, and I'm not sure exactly where to put it, but I thought I'd just do it under comments, and that is talking about the Ag Center and the progress on there. Bill, I didn't know, that might be the appropriate place to talk about that.
Yes, that'd be fine.
And talk about an RFQ there to get that process started. But I don't want to start the process without you knowing we're doing it, so I'm going to give you an update on that.
Okay,
Tell you where we're at there. Is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything? Mr. Jordan?
Mr. Wood, could I inquire where we're at, or is it too soon for us to begin the process of looking for a permanent manager? Have we started that process, or is that?
Well, that's what the April 8th retreat will start that process. Because what we want to do there, remember there were two things. One was the budget part of it, and the second part was developing the manager profile, going through and deciding what specifically you're looking for, and that will start the process. So once we do that, that is the trigger for determining what we're going to put into the ad and that sort of thing. Now, we're already developing the ad and the materials that will go out with that, and I have the PIO working on that already. So it's really a matter of going through that retreat process, go through the profile, and once you do that, we'll be ready to start advertising it.
So the time frame for the advertising, the interview process, and making the decision, that time frame would work out on the April?
Yes, and I'll have all that spelled out for you. I'll have a rough schedule for you at that point.
Okay, good.
How we think that'll work out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do I have a motion that we go into closed session? Or do we just go with it?
Well, no, it'd be for the purpose of discussing matters relating to the location or expansion of industries in Wayne County, and to consult with an attorney to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
Have a motion, we go.
So moved.
All in favor, show sign of right. Okay.
I need to-
It's 9:10, time to conduct the business of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. I'd ask everyone, if you would, turn your cell phones either off or on the silent mode. Mr. Bell, you have
Yes,
someone for invocation, please?
I was supposed to do the prayer this morning, but I felt that Mr. Mayo needed a little bit extra
for attention, so I asked his pastor to come.
He gets clean attention on Sunday mornings, John.
Pastor Phillips, thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to come and pray with you all again, and in true Baptist fashion, those of us who are Baptists know we came to this country to be able to celebrate our freedom of religion and freedom of worship. So I encourage you to pray to your God today freely as I pray to mine for us. So will you join me in prayer this morning? Oh God, I thank you for this day. You have granted us another 24 hours of opportunity. We can use this day for good, for you, for others, or we can use it selfishly or waste it as an unappreciated gift. God, you're not a respecter of persons, and we're grateful, but we are. Forgive us. Help us to see the infinite value in all. Make today a day we recognize you in all that we meet. Fill us with your justice, your mercy, your respect for all people. And most of all, teach us to live as St. Francis taught us to pray so many years ago, that, O gracious God, where there is hatred, let me so love, where there is injury, pardon, where there is error, truth, where there is doubt, faith, where there is despair, hope, where there is darkness, light, and where there is sadness, joy. O divine God, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Phillips.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please rise and face the flag, please.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pate.
Yes, sir.
Do I have approval of the minutes for the February 4th
Mr.
and
Chairman,
the February 18th meeting? Mr. King.
before I go through these minutes, and they're quite in-depth, I would like to make a motion that we approve substantive to some changes, and I'd like to go over those changes at this time.
Yes, sir.
I do not have the page numbers, neither do you, because they're not numbered. So you'll have to bear with me, and we'll have to search through these. And I would maybe suggest, Mr. Chairman, that all the pages be numbered from here out, so when we have to go through this from now on, we'll know where to go. So bear with me. It's under the first minutes on February the 4th, under Wayne County Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for period ending on June 30, 2013. This would be the fourth paragraph down in the page where it begins with Paul Nunn with Nunn Bashir Company, PA, stated the independent auditor's report shows an unmodified opinion of the 2012-13 financial statements, which met Nunn Bashir Company found no cause to believe anything was incorrect. No difficulties were encountered during the audit. There was no disagreements with management and no consultations with other accountants. Information that I received from the department is that there were incorrect items reported. And I just wanted to make note that that is in the minutes. Are you there, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next page down from the bullet points, and it starts with the third paragraph under condition. Due to the unsuccessful rollout of the payroll system, several internal controls were circumvented in order to pay employees in a timely manner. I thought that for these minutes, were there others discussed in the 4 minutes that are not in here? Several internal controls were circumvented. My question was, in the context, the most notable controls circumvented during the 6-month period were payroll, segregation of duties, timely payroll, bank accounts, and accurate payment of employees. I thought we discussed this in more detail. And it's not listed. I realize all this is taped, but it's not indicated here, and I thought that there were more of these discussed. In particular, where it says bank account was not reconciled for several months, I know there was a lot of discussion on that, and it's not indicated in the minutes. And the next, down at the bottom where it says views of responsible official and plan corrective actions, the county agrees with the finding and has already corrected the situation. We spoke of underpayments and overpayments that were explained, and this is not in the minutes. And I thought that the corrections were ongoing, and we had not already corrected the situation. Next page, under paragraph 6, where it says calls. In January 2013, under recommendation, second sentence, the January 2013 retirement file was late due to the massive undertaking required to convert back to the previous payroll system. And then it goes in, says views of responsible officials and planned corrective actions. The county agrees to this finding and has already corrected the situation. We had discussed late payments and fees were also discussed, and it's not in the minutes. The 5th paragraph from the bottom, where it says corrective action, a corrective action was under corrective action. A corrective action plan was developed and discussed with staff. An in-house audit has been planned. I thought we discussed it is ongoing, not has been planned. If you turn over 4 pages, I only know how to tell you to get there is look at the top, and it has Commissioner Joe Dodd reviewed the following Wayne County Board of Education projections for 20-year financing at Grantham Middle School in Spring Creek. And it has a list of the numbers at the top. Are we okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
The first paragraph where it says Commissioner Steve Keene stated he was concerned the projections by the Board of Education were unbalanced and speculative. It should add there, due to lottery funds being changed by the General Assembly's decision in September 13th. That is not in there. And one more addition, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you being, and the fellow commissioners being patient with me, but here again, I just have to go through these page by page. Going through the first, that's all in part of the minutes on February the 4th. The minutes on the February 18th. I can only say that if you go to about the 7th or 8th page of that minutes on February the 18th, it starts at the top, paragraph, Vice Chairman Edward Camardi stated the Board of Education and Board of Commissioners wanted to build Grantham School and Spring Creek School at the top of that page. I'll wait until you get there. Then the second one, the second paragraph, Commissioner Steve Keene stated he would not withdraw his motion. That page.
Yes, sir.
The paragraph from the bottom, the last paragraph, where it says Davenport and Company Vice President, at the bottom, the paragraph that precedes that, are we all there?
Yes, sir.
It says, in response to a question from Chairman George Wayne Aycock, SFL plus 8 Architects, CEO Robbie Ferris stated design build would lengthen the time of the project. And I had noted on my notes, and not being able to open the school on August of 2014 school year. And that is not in there. I'm sorry, 2015. I apologize. And would not spend more on, it says, design build would lengthen the time of the project, lose tax credits, and increase the interest rate. The school would spend more than on design build the school for the same quality and traditionally built school. If it's not in that paragraph, I thought it was, my notes indicate it should have been, that was indicated, and I've looked through the minutes and trying to find the promise that if we delayed this, the school would not open August 2015. And in my notes, that's the only place I can put it, because it's not anywhere in the minutes that that date was brought up, and you'll find that it was. So with those changes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes.
I have a motion on the floor that we accept the minutes with the changes Mr. King has pointed out. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Daugherty.
would it be better that we postpone this and ask the clerk to go ahead and review that and bring these minutes back at our next meeting?
I don't have an issue with that at all.
Anyone else? Fate?
I just said I agree with that. I did my Mr. Daugherty.
Mr. Mann?
Yes, I agree with that. And please number the pages on the page.
Mr. Marty?
I agree with that.
Mr. Bell? I have a motion on the floor that we, well, I have a motion, we've got to take care of the motion on the floor first.
If he wants to amend that, or, I certainly don't have a problem with that.
Will you modify your motion
Sure.
to
Modify the motion that we make the changes and come back before us at the next meeting to approve the minutes.
I have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor, show of sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
On that matter as well, would you also review, because we would want it in our minutes, reflecting the fact on the minutes of February the 18th, that it did reflect that the proposal of the school board would indicate that those schools would open for the school year of 2015. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That was in the, Mr. Chairman, that was, I thought, in
In the
that
motion.
February 18th. That was part of the change
Yes, sir.
in that particular paragraph. Again, I indicate that I did not see it anywhere in the minutes, and my notes indicate that that's where it was. But it may not be exactly in that paragraph, Mr. Daugherty.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Wood?
Pam has all of the budget amendments. We do have the one that you added at the start.
Okay.
Pam, do you want to go through those budget amendments?
This is just the addition.
It's
just the addition.
Just the addition. We'll discuss, we're going to add that addition on at the end, right?
Yes.
Ms. Hope? Okay. Is that the only adjustment to the agenda? Okay. reports?
No, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
And the unfinished business.
I asked to add this to the unfinished business items, which was indicated in the minutes that purchasing, on the second page, purchasing manager Noel Woods stated the feasibility study for a new detention center is on hold until Wayne County hears from the state of North Carolina concerning the disposition of Wayne County, or of Wayne Correctional Center. 4 firms have been interviewed. That is in the minutes, but that, I've asked in this morning that be added to old business if we could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. I've got it written down. Sorry, I looked over it. Any other adjustments to the agenda? Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Keene. I had overlooked it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Committee reports, appointment committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The appointment committee has appointments this morning. If you will go past the minutes, you'll see the first page is just titled appointments, but if you turn the page to the first highlighted page, and I'll wait till everyone finds that. That's sort of hard to find. This is not numbered either, but it's after the minutes that we were just talking about. Everyone ready? Okay. First appointment this morning from the appointment committee, which includes myself and Commissioner Bill Pate and Commissioner John Bell, is on the appointment committee, is the Wayne County Planning Board. And at this time, Mr. Chairman, the appointment committee would like to recommend Mr. Ed Camardi for reappointment at this time, and that is in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Mayo that, recommendation from the appointment committee to reappoint Mr. Ed Camardi. Any discussion? Mr. Chairman. Mr. Daugherty.
Are we taking a position of continuing the appointment of a commissioner on the planning board?
Mr. Mayor.
The appointment committee does not see the planning board as being a conflict of interest because the county commissioner sets policy for the planning board. And also, the commissioners have the final say as to what most of the items that the planning board does. So the appointment committee does not see that as a conflict of interest.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Pate.
I was just going to follow up and agree with that. Anything that's out of the ordinary would have to come before this board anyway. So we would make the final decision there, this board would. So I agree with what Mr. Mayo just said. Thank you.
Any other comments? No other comments. I have a motion on the floor. All in favor, show of sign of right hand. All opposed? 6-1. Ms. Marshall.
Abstain.
5-1, I'm sorry.
Abstain. Abstain from voting.
You can't abstain.
Counts as an aye.
I cannot do that. Sir.
Your failure to vote would be counted as a positive vote.
All right.
Do I need to?
I think what you said was correct.
Okay,
6-1.
6-1.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, right under, at the bottom of that same page we're looking at is the Commissioner's Council for Older Adults. And there's evidently the whole council here is up for a reappointment at this time. And I wanted to recommend from the appointment committee that the Commissioners' Council for Older Adults, that we reappoint Aaron McCullough, Pam Holt, Dr. Marley Ray, B.R. Huggins, Nancy Davis, Gloria Benton, Terry Davis, Linda Jones, Ethel Barnes, Helena Bell, and if you turn the page, Hilda Rouse, Brownie Doss, Cheryl Crumpler, Stephanie Rose, Peggy Seegers, Debbie Jones, June Monk, and Barbara Stiles. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion that we reappoint these individuals to the Commissioners' Council for Older Adults, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Daugherty.
I do not have any negative things to say about those that have agreed to serve. I would, though, like to see that we involve new blood and new people on these boards, in that with that new addition brings new ideas and new concepts and new thoughts. But with that said, like I say, I don't have any real objections to those that were there. I would just hope and encourage people to apply to be on these boards and commissions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor.
And I agree with Commissioner Daugherty. For example, on this committee, this council, we have received one application from the public. And we really need people to serve on these. And if I may, Mr. Chairman, could I take just a minute to ask Ms. Marsha Wilson to give us, like you did in our appointment committee, give us an idea of what the Commissioners' Council for Older Adults does, please?
Sure. This Commissioners' Council for Older Adults acts as an advisory capacity for the Home and Community Care Block Grant, which provides services to our seniors such as congregate nutrition, meals delivered at home, also our in-home aid program, and our respite program at the senior center, and our transportation funds that we get. So you will actually approve the Home and Community Care Block Grant on its own, but they act in an advisory committee capacity to make sure that the funding is dispersed evenly and that all the seniors receive the services they need within the appropriation that we receive.
Thank you. That was you see why we have Marsha on with our appointment committee? So I want to encourage everyone that's listening to go online, go to waynegov.com, look under Commissioners and look under Citizen Participation. And when you click on it, there'll be a whole list, about 37 or 38 of these boards and committees that this appointment committee is responsible for. And you can see who's on the committee, and you may find someone on that committee that you know that you want to serve with. And you can also find the application that you can fill out, and all can be done on computer. So I encourage our citizens to do that. I'm sorry to take that time, Mr. Chairman, it's important.
That's fine. Mr. Marty.
I was going to save this for comments, but since we're talking about that subject, I would like to interject one thing as relates to committees. I would like to see our new interim manager take a look at all committees, and especially those where we have board members, multiple board members serving on certain committees. And therefore, when we're talking about giving citizens a broad opportunity to serve on committees, it may be inappropriate that we would have more than one member serving on a committee or a whatever. The Economic Development Commission might have as many as 3 commissioners serving on that, and I think the Transportation might also. So when we're talking about giving the citizens an equal opportunity to serve on boards, we need to look internally, externally, and everywhere to make sure that we're doing that. And that has been a concern of mine from the day that I first began to serve on this board. I appreciate serving. I serve anywhere at the pleasure of my comrades, but let's just take a broader look at this whole thing, because I would like to further look at the demographics of the entire county and see if we might not match up the demographics of the county with the membership on the boards that we serve. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? One question for Mr. Mayor, or either for Marcia. The Council on Older Adults, is that an active board? I mean, I know we've got some committees that seldom they meet. Is this an active?
This particular board is active, however, they only meet generally from now until the time the budget is submitted to you. They work on the Home and Community Care Block Grant that we receive.
So they really don't meet on a regular basis?
Not throughout the year, but they'll start meeting now till budget time.
I would just, if we're gonna go to the trouble of having people on committees, it's just my personal opinion, it's kind of useless to have committees if they're not gonna meet and conduct any business. That's just something to think about, Mr. Wood. I mean, anyone else?
Yes, sir. I do, Mr. Chairman, since everyone's weighing in particular to older adults. As you know, I've championed the Senior Center since '08. I've also served on the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners on DHHS since '08. I've also, Mr. Chairman, as you know, and the other commissioners, have represented this county in the East Carolina Council of Governments for 2 years as president. And Adult Protective Services, respite care, nursing homes, percentage of our citizens that are older. As you know, in 2000, 26% of our total population were over 50, and in 2010, almost 34% is over 50. We're an aging county, and what this board is doing, this advisory committee, is they are constantly, day in and day out, overseeing this growth of adult services that is so desperately needed in Wayne County. And a lot of people will have negative things to say. You can't please everybody, but the fact is we're a older, growing county, according to statistics. And this data is important enough where this committee has seen it. And some of them have served, and I have turned the page already, but I was looking at some of them started serving back as early as 04. I'm sorry, I want to be right. As early as 1996. Yep. There have people been serving on this board as far back as 1996. And they're still committed. They show up. They do what is right for the aging. And I appreciate everyone that serves, because you don't have to. And in my report, I'm going to go into a little volunteer work myself here. But I'll go over that in a few minutes. But just to weigh in on this committee is to be commended because they do care and they do work hard and represent those well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Have a motion on the floor that we accept the recommendations of the appointment committee on Council of Older Adults. All in favor, show a sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, that's all the appointments we have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Board of Commissioners Committee reports. Mr. Bell?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have two quick reports. I met with Eastern Region last week, and as you know, Eastern Region is going out of business, not out of business, but changing the name, so to speak, June the 30th. And they still have some counties that may have some of this. Mr. Mayor was working on that, that may have some additional monies that they are not going to use. So just remind you that we might need to stay on top of that so we can maybe acquire some of that money. And my second one is the Go Wayne Go. That's a project that the health department and a few entities are working on, trying to make Wayne County more healthy. Wayne County is number 65 in the state of North Carolina as far as our health is concerned. And we'd like to improve that by getting with the Go Wayne Go. They got some beautiful projects that's coming up, trying to lose 1 million pounds over the next few months. But the weight loss is not the most important thing. The most important thing is living healthy and eating healthy. So they asked me to ask the commissioners, since we kind of kicked this off, Mr. King, that we start participating in that program a little bit more. And I've been attending the meetings, not on a regular basis, but they have a lot of very important people that are working with that committee, trying to get Wayne County more healthy. So that's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Pate?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up on that, I've been on diet now for months and I've only gained 5 pounds, so. I do go regularly to the gym. Ken from the health department said he can attest back that I am exercising anyway. Get over it's hard, man, I ain't lying. We attended a DOT feasibility study on Highway 70, and we got the opportunity to look at several options. Myself and Commissioner King and Commissioner Daugherty were there, and there were some very important things that we need to be looking at. But again, they're the feasibility studies for the future. I am on the steering committee of the Association for the Ag Committee, and we met in Raleigh. And it got some good things out of that. Not only did we talk about the agricultural issues, which they did, but we got a lot of updates from Kevin Leonard. He gave us a legislative update, and they talked about the funding agricultural research and some of the and the extension service. I'm glad to have them here today, and the conservation of working lands and farmland preservation. They talked about the discussion of what's going to happen, what we can expect in the short session. Talked about some of the achievements from last session: tax reform, county inmate medical costs, go to Medicaid, save us money. The one thing that Commissioner King's been talking about for so long is about the ADM and lottery funding that we have lost, and that was talked about during that meeting, and they gave me a book, and I share this with my comrades. And since 2009, we have lost right at $7.7 million in Wayne County for ADM funding, which is the construction cost for from business to fund the corporate tax. I was trying to remember exactly what it was. That helped fund the capital improvements in schools and the lottery as well. So we can see this thing is changing, so we need to make sure that we keep a close eye on it because it can have an impact on what we do in the future. Talked about LMEs and MCO consolidation. It looks like there's going to be 4 of them when it's finished. And on the 28th is the county assembly day, so we'll all be headed up to Raleigh on that day. We had a presentation from the NC Farm about NC Farm School, and I'm sure Kevin and his group know more about that. There's just 2 or 3 sites now, and what they're doing, they're working with beginning and transition farmers and helping them develop business plans and that type of thing. I think it's got a bright future, and you'll be hearing more about that. And on the 27th, Commissioner May and I were on WGBR. We talked about some county updates, enjoyed being on Carol's show, and do that on a regular basis. Transportation meeting was held at Langtree. I thought the update from the port was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think the pulse of the port lets us know what's happening inland. And if we can continue to develop our ports and our rail and our transportation, it will do nothing but help Wayne County. Of course, we all went and made the D.C. trip to Washington, D.C., and the highlight of that for me was having the opportunity to go and talk to Senator Burr's staff, and we had a long talk with Representative George Holding, and I thought that was really good. And of course, you know what I went there for. I was talking about agriculture, trying to bring some money back to Wayne County so we can make our ag center a reality. And we're just moving forward with that every day, working hard on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pate. Mr. King?
Get some water, we'll get started. Well, we've certainly been part of a lot of meetings, Mr. Chairman. The fellow commissioners, we all went to Washington, and the Transportation Steering Committee, as you know, that I serve on the National Steering Committee, indicated to me while I was there that they would like for me to serve on the Ports Subcommittee. So Patrick Farrell out of Savannah, and the chair for the ports is Joan Murphy out of Chicago. And it is a very active port and subcommittee, and looking forward to serving on that. The, coming back local, as you know too, I serve on the Association's Economic Development Task Force. Like this afternoon, we'll be attending that in Kinston today. But I'd like to give you a little report, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, and those in the county, that, as you know, the association has 5 strong goals. First goal is to look into the lottery funding and to work on that, as Commissioner Pate has mentioned. But in goal 3 is to enhance the state-county relationship through effective communications and the development of a working partnership. And goal 4 is to enhance the ability of county officials to represent counties and the NCACC, the association, on local, statewide, and national issues. Of course, on the national issues, you saw what we did this past week. But just on the local state issues, as you know, the association put together the task force. And this Economic Development Task Force is asking that all 100 counties to share their experiences with economic development in their counties and regions. To get all counties involved in a task force initiative, 2 strategies are being employed during March and April that will provide opportunities for commissioners to talk with businesses and others about county government, and especially the elected officials can be most effective in this arena. Again, the listening tour this afternoon, as we begin this tour throughout the state, a series of 4 economic development listening tours stops in March and early April will showcase successful county economic development endeavors. A variety of partnership examples will be explored, including a multi-county project, a state-county project, an example of a county using its inherent resources and traditional economy to spur new business, and a regional anchor approach. I'm really excited about that, and we'll see more of that this afternoon. Business leaders of each location will discuss their decision-making process and the role that the county is making on the ground experiences, good or bad, to share with this task force and to help inform the committee's recommendations. And of course, there's no charge to attend this afternoon. This afternoon will be at the Chef and the Farmer over in Kinston, and be open discussions from Ben Knight, co-owner and general manager of the Chef and Farmer. And we'll focus on the draw and potential of the rural agriculture-based counties. This restaurant, as you know, the owners are the inspiration of PBS food documentary, A Chef's Life. Then there's the Economic Development Symposium that I would encourage all of us to attend, Leveraging County Leadership. An Economic Development Symposium is scheduled for April 29th and the 30th. We'll bring county officials together with industry experts and business leaders for a day and a half of learning and interaction. Facilitated sessions will not only provide a look into what business leaders and economic development consultants consider paramount when they are looking to start, grow, expand, or relocate a business or industry, but will also provide a forum for county officials to share their thoughts on their counties and can do to foster more economic growth and the strategies that we have in our county. Participants will ask to identify concepts and ideas that might strengthen or enhance the county's role in economic development. Information gathered through the symposium will help inform the committee's deliberations and recommendations. Of course, our task force is committed to gathering as much information as possible to assure that the important role of county governments in economic development is nurtured and enhanced. I informed WCDA President Joanna Helms a couple of months ago, and she put together what has made our WCDA successful and impact Wayne with private investors going forward in a public-private partnership, as the Governor and Secretary of Commerce, Sarah Decker, are so positive on, is to join hands in a private-public partnership in prosperity zones, and how WCDA in our county works through that. And she put together a great piece, sent it off, and actually is going to be a springboard in some of these, and used as a springboard in some of these meetings. The last piece, Mr. Chairman, that I have is what I mentioned a while ago, is as you all know, I served on the as Mr. Cromartie will see in Eastern Carolina Council of Governments, there is an ombudsman part of looking after adults, being the advocate for the residents in nursing homes. You have I guess the child that looks after the mom or dad that's in the nursing home as a resident. You have the resident itself and the company that owns the nursing home and the caregiving unit. But who looks after the resident? If there's some question, and that's where ombudsman comes in. But the same thing happens on the guardian ad litem that also serves as a volunteer. Though I can't serve as a guardian ad litem volunteer currently because there will be a conflict of interest because our attorney represents DSS, and being so that just a quick overview of the guardian ad litem, for many people don't know what that is. Guardian ad litem is an advocate for the child. DSS is called to look after a family in need and destitute, and the child is taken into DSS protective services or through a foster home part. It's directed by DSS with their attorney. And then you have the mother that may be in destitute or separated that has her attorney. And then you have the father who has his attorney. So everybody has an attorney except the child. And that's where your guardian ad litem volunteer comes in. We have a great guardian ad litem program in Wayne County. But I got this email I must share with you. We are in desperate need of volunteers. We still have 5 cases that need a volunteer to advocate for the children, and we are told that more cases are coming. All these are in Wayne County. 5 children, ages 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10, placed with mom in a local municipality here in Wayne County. Medical neglect. Mom not getting their shots. Mom cusses at kids, allowing men in home to do drugs. Domestic violence with dad. Rolls pot in front of kids. Leaves them home alone. That's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10 ages. Another case that we need volunteers. 2 girls, 4 months and 17 months old, placed with mom and maternal grandmother in Johnston County. Domestic violence between mom and boyfriend, youngest child's father. 5-month-old boy living with mom and great uncle in a city in Wayne County. Child born positive to marijuana. Prior children are removed from mom. Mental health issues, substance abuse, and housing stability issues. Another new case. Needing a volunteer here. 16-year-old boy placed with mother in a city in Wayne County. Child extremely autistic. Mom let Medicaid and Social Security run out. Mom depressed. Boys take care of themselves. Autistic sibling also lives in home that is over 18 years old. Bed saturated with urine. Child getting aggressive. Here's the next case. 1-year-old boy, a 5-year-old girl. Both placed with relatives in Johnston County at 2 different homes. This case opened in September and it has not been adjudicated yet. Volunteer had to turn case back in due to family health issues. Mom's incompetent to care for herself and children. Mental health issues. If anyone has heard this, write this number down because it's 919-722-6300 and speak to Cynthia. Or Colleen Kosinski. She's the Guardian Ad Litem Director, and she's the District Administrator in District 8, which is Wayne County, Greene County, Lenoir, and Pitt County. Thank you. We need volunteers all over the county, and this is just one area. And it's sad that this is going on. But here again, when we are making these appointments, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, we're sitting here as elected officials, but we can't do anything ourselves on our own. We need volunteers. We need people that you're at home and wondering, what can I do? What can I do to help? I might have a fixed income. I might be 50 or 55 or 60, and I'm waning in my years and finding something else to do. What can I do? This is a great opportunity to volunteer, Mr. Chairman, for those who are destitute, those who have no one to look after them, but those of us who are healthy or who have the resources to volunteer and help these young children. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Mayor.
I need 36 minutes, Mr. Chairman. No,
You can have 6.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On March the 20th, I would say I attended the Eastern Region meeting in Kinston, but I was by phone because I had bronchitis. So it was by phone that we hooked up for that meeting. And on March the 20th, the Wayne County application that we had applied for through the Eastern Region for our municipalities, the $576,923.08 plus the 1% fee of $5,769.23 and 0 interest for a maximum of 5 years was approved by the Eastern Region Board. So Wayne County should be getting those funds in probably a month or so. And I was able to listen to the full meeting. I think, I know Commissioner Bell was there at that meeting. So we're really thankful that the Eastern Region has approved. We can certainly use that money here in Wayne County. Yes.
That was February 20th.
I'm sorry, February 20th. I don't know why I put March. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Bell. On February 25th, to address the question that Commissioner Bell had a few minutes ago, on February 25th, I sent a request to county managers by email of Lenoir, Onslow, Craven, Pitt, and Greene County expressing our interest as Wayne County in borrowing their DMV money, their monies in their fund if they're not going to use it. I've been checking with Sylvia Nesbitt at Eastern Region on a weekly basis as to updates. And the result so far is that Greene County, as I talked to Sylvia yesterday, Greene County has applied for part of their funds, about $212,000 out of the $576 that is allotted to them, and that leaves them a balance of $364,000 or so. So Mr. Parker is the county attorney for Greene County, and he and I are sort of communicating if anything is going to take place with that situation. Lenoir County, I just learned, has applied for their full amount. So Lenoir County is out. I have not heard a reply from Onslow, Craven, or Pitt. However, we have an Eastern Region meeting this coming Thursday morning in Kinston, and Commissioner Bell and I, and by the way, commissioners from these counties sit on the Eastern Region Board, and I'm going to communicate with these commissioners from these counties to see if any monies are available that Wayne County can borrow. So that's an update on that situation. On March 27th, of course, I attended the Wayne County Transportation meeting at Langtree, and Stephanie Ayers really gave a good presentation on the North Carolina ports and rail, and be honest with you, gave us a really good view of what we're missing out on. We're missing out on a lot of revenue in North Carolina because we're not proactive in our ports. We also had some updates, and of course I know Commissioner Daugherty, as Chairman of Transportation, is going to Wayne County Transportation is going to relate to the same thing. But we were presented updates on studies on the Highway 70 bypass from Johnson County to Wayne County, and also the I-795, I-40 connector. That's all I'll say about that. I'll give you the rest of that, Commissioner. March 27th, I was able to attend the Impact Wayne.
February 27th.
February 27th, I was able to attend the Impact Wayne meeting at the Goldsboro Country Club. Impact Wayne is very important to economic development in Wayne County. If the public is not aware, Impact Wayne is a group of private investors that work in collaboration with the Wayne County Development Alliance to provide necessary funding to stimulate the economic vitality in Wayne County. In other words, the Impact Wayne supports what the Wayne County Development Alliance is doing. It adds money when needed to make projects happen. And I'm proud to be a part of that organization and on the board of the Wayne County Development Alliance. Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I'd like to also do my commissioner comments while I'm in this, because I was not able to go to Washington, D.C., and I really wanted to go, but I just wanted to share just for a minute that I saw something over the last 3 weeks that I've seen a lot of times in my life, probably hundreds of times, but I saw it with my own 2 eyes over the last 3 weeks. My daughter-in-law works for Child Services DSS, and her father came to the edge of death and then came back by God's help. Now he's out of ICU, the ventilator's out, his colon is completely gone, and he's doing great. My point is this, is that God is still in the miracle business. He works. Prayer works. Hundreds of people pray for this man. And I know it offends some people, but it's like my pastor said. Pastor Glenn Phillips is my pastor. Like he said earlier, whatever faith we are, we can pray to our own God. And I'm saying that I may offend some people, but I do believe in the power of prayer. And I saw it with my own 2 eyes, again, over the last 3 weeks. So I wanted to be in Washington with the other commissioners, but I knew that family needed to come first. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Daugherty, Mr. Camardi, I'm going to ask y'all to hold your comments a minute. It's 10 o'clock, time for our public comment section. And then looking over the audience, we may can save 4 minutes right now.